and welcome to Terror Takeout. Today we will be reviewing the Blair Witch Project with our special guest, our brother Dustin.
Dustin, you know films. Give us a brief...
Would you like to give us a brief synopsis?
I was fixing to say synopsis, that
well,
word.
Okay, a group of kids. Well, I don't know if they're kids. Does it ever specify
College
their
kids.
age?
They're in college. They're doing a college project.
Group of kids go out to film a documentary about a local superstition in the woods, and it all goes horribly wrong, and that's it.
People thought it was real, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole reason the movie is as big as it is, because it was like, this is real, and then everyone was like, oh my god, and then they went to go see it, and they're like, I just witnessed people actually die,
Yeah.
and then...
The producers and the directors and all the people who made the movie put a lot of work into making it scarier because they told everyone that they were dead. They put up missing posters when the film first came out, and then they immediately had to take them down because someone was actually
The marketing
missing.
campaign for it was genius. That's another thing. The movie itself is who cares. Well, it's not who cares. It's okay, but everything around the movie is interesting.
But people give it crap, but don't you have to be kind of a good film if people are walking out of it thinking that it really happened?
Did you know Heather Donahue won a Razzie for worst actress for Blair Witch Project?
I did know that.
She was the best.
Yeah, I was saying.
Yeah.
I was like, no, she's the best
she's
actor
the best
in the whole
actor.
movie.
Yeah, I agree with that. I liked it. What did you think about it?
It's okay. I
Yeah.
rewatched it. It's okay.
Yeah.
I've also seen it more than once. I've seen it twice. And the first time I watched it, it wasn't super scary until the last scene. But the second time, I think it's because I watched it in the dark, I found it more scary.
Plus, you had more people watching with you, so I feel other people's reactions, and maybe that's why it was scary in the theaters as well. You know, because you're surrounded by a whole bunch of people that are all reacting to it, which is getting you kind of spooked and amped up. Exactly. Whereas if you're watching it by yourself. But I feel maybe if you watched it in a theater, and for the first time, maybe it would be something more than what it actually is. So I guess we'll break it down into sections of the movie first, and then we'll talk about overall characters and writing and stuff.
Is there sections of the movie? They go out, stuff starts happening, and then...
Well, you could split it into...
The brick hits the fan and it all goes crazy.
You could split it into the interviews and then the woods. Because they do have two very different feels.
Yeah, because the interviews, that's the part of the film that I didn't like. As soon as those started happening, I was sure that I wasn't going to like the film. Because I felt the interviews were very poorly acted. I did not like the people they interviewed acting ability, and I think if you're going to do this type of film, where you're trying to make something that looks completely genuine, you have to have top-notch actors, at least people that know what they're doing. And that whole first 15 minutes just threw me off because it's I did not like it, and I was I'm not gonna like the rest of this film because it just felt very cringy almost, because it was kids putting together a fake documentary, with no budget and people they dug off the side of the street.
That's the movie. You just described the movie.
Yeah, but
someone with no budget said, you want to be in my movie, and people said yes.
Yeah, but for some reason, I thought all three main characters were really good at acting. I thought they all did really, really well. But I didn't get that from the first 15 minutes.
I don't know if you guys know this, but similar to what you just said, what the filmmakers did was they just actually scared them. They said, okay, go out. It was okay, you know Curb Your Enthusiasm, where they give you a loose story, and then they're just go do this, and whatever happens, happens. It was like that. They're okay, go out in the woods, you have the story, and then the filmmakers actually did hide and scare them.
Yeah,
so they were legitimately scared.
I read that, and I thought that probably the filming of the movie is probably a lot more terrifying than watching it. Because they were set out in the woods, and they were given, food and water and everything, because you can't starve people, but the scene where there's all the noises outside and it's something attacks their tent, that's the directors and they had no clue that it was. That's just, I feel that's probably way more scary than the actual movie.
Well, I think now we're talking about the woods, once you get past the interview section and the beginning when they're goofing off in the hotel room and filming the cemetery scene and all that kind of stuff. Once you get past that and you're in the woods, I think the movie becomes immediately more interesting. And I was like, I wanted to actually see what happened to these people after that started, after like we got into the second part of the film, which isn't the second half, it's, you know, but it's just the second part.
Well, I personally find the end scene the scariest.
Everyone does.
I didn't.
Oh really? The end's like the best part. Honestly, the end is the best part of the movie.
The ending like just didn't scare me at all. The ending I was completely fine with. Everybody likes the ending the best, right?
Yeah, it's cool.
But if you were to be like me and miss the line that makes the ending make sense in the interview section,
that is your fault, though.
Yeah.
I understand.
I had to explain it to him after it happened.
But it's all relying on one line that you may or may not get up to go to the bathroom during. Because of that, I did not find the ending scary, because I was like, we're standing in the corner. Yeah, so...
Stand in the corner.
So...
Oh my god!
But briefly, I found the scariest parts to be the noise, when they were hearing the noises in the tent. Like all the dark, pitch black tent scenes, where you couldn't see anything, those terrified me way more than the ending.
Yeah, those are good.
But yeah, so before we get to like the woods and characters and writing
the woods,
and everything, I really liked the decision to do the shots from the the documentary viewer's point of view in black and white, and then to do everything else in color. Like, I mean, I think that's an obvious choice. Like, I think that they made an obvious choice, but then also it really adds to it because you're kind of seeing it through you're seeing it through the character's eyes, you know, a little bit more when it's black and white. And then when it's colored, you're kind of like on the outside of the story. You're like a third-person viewer.
Yeah.
But I really like that. And it made it a little creepier because
Although,
it's black and white.
now that I think about it, they probably should have done it the other way.
No, yeah, I was just, as I was saying it, I was like, yeah, you know what, it should have been done the other way around.
Yeah.
Well, but it kind of was, because it kind of was, you know, I take it back, because now that I think about it, the interviews are in it, and then everything we see, you are like the third party, like you're viewing the documentary. And then the color scenes, when they are moving a camera around and telling their story, that's through whoever is shooting its eyes at the time, so you get to really feel for that character. So I take it back.
I don't even know. The problem with found footage films in general, including this one, is that because it's just something that's kind of happening, you don't really remember too much of any of it.
Yeah, I will say that I forgot this movie pretty quickly after watching it.
Yeah, like...
I think it's because they try, because it's found footage, they try to make it more real, so there's a lot of downtime. There is a really big issue with realism in things like TVs and movies and stage productions, because it's so hard to have a flowing, natural conversation that isn't like scripted or anything.
But Gilmore Girls does it pretty well.
Gilmore Girls? That is not the example I would use.
No, because Gilmore Girls, if you don't know, they actually kind of boot camped their actors for the fast pace that Gilmore Girls dialogue goes. Well, I think Blair Witch Project does do well because a lot of it is genuine responses and reactions.
A lot of the
moments that they talk over each other and like
so
the fight scene, I thought that was one of the best acted scenes. Like the main fight scene where they're like basically just screaming at each other. Like that was really well done, and they interrupted each other and they talked over each other, and it was like a real life thing, and it kind of made you nervous.
Well, I feel like when they are acting and speaking lines, it does feel very natural. But then, of course, because they don't have a whole bunch of things to say, there are a lot of very long, drawn out moments that aren't necessarily needed.
Yeah, purposeful.
Some of them are, because it makes it more eerie and it builds anticipation. But some of them aren't.
I think it is kind of needed. I think they are purposeful because they're trying to get you to relate to these characters' relationship previous. Because well, let's just dive right into characters. Because one thing we really liked about the characters, and I remember really liking, is how the characters completely do a turnaround from their personalities.
They do a 180.
Yeah, because Matt was originally
Mike Mark.
Welcome to Mike Mark. Very temperamental and very standoffish, very anxious about everything. But
he stole the map. He wanted to start fights.
But then when everything started going wrong, he really stepped up and was really calm and was the linchpin of the whole group. And he
didn't even say it right there.
And then Sean was really calm at first and like, you know, don't fight, you guys. Okay, so, and then when stuff starts to go wrong, he completely loses his mind and starts crying and then literally goes crazy. Like, I'm pretty sure he actually went crazy. And then Heather,
Locklear.
Yeah, Locklear. Her character's interesting because she didn't do like a 180. More so, she just became like 110% of the character that she originally was. Like, she started out as like, she really wanted to get this documentary done, and then once everything started going crazy, she
wanted to get it done even more.
She needed to get it done. Like, it was the only thing left she had. So, you know, and obviously she completely fell apart, but she was kind of falling apart from the get-go. It just got like progressively worse.
At the beginning, she was very like determined and strong, and she had no deterrent or anything, but then as it went on, she became a little more vulnerable. She kind of opened up a little bit because everything was happening, so her walls were breaking down.
Yeah. But also, me and Madison were talking about, where as far as like closure of characters, me and Madison were talking about how the one character that we didn't like the closure of was Sean.
Oh, I was just saying.
Like, he didn't get any closure.
Because
he died.
We're torn on this, both of us. Not like we're one that disagrees. We both feel the same split. To whereas we like the fact that we don't ever know what really happened to Sean. Like, were those his teeth one? Was he making those sounds? Or was it, you know, well, obviously, you know, was it kids messing around? Or can the witch emulate his voice? You know, whatever it was. Like, all that stuff. We like the, what is the word? Ambiguity?
Ambiguity.
On the other side of the track is that because we don't know what happens to Sean, I feel like we never get closure with his character. Like, I feel like his character never ends up going anywhere because he's just there one minute and then he's gone the next. Which maybe that's supposed to emulate real life a bit because, you know, people's existence is generally like that. The characters were really good, like their progressions as characters.
You know, like most standard films.
Well, not all films do it well, though.
No, of course not.
They were very dynamic. They weren't static.
I don't know if I call them dynamic.
They weren't. Yeah, they were.
Well, they were.
They're fun. They're fine because here's the thing. They're supposed to be the audience, right? Like, this is supposed to be kind of you. So they work as that. It works as audience vessels.
Yeah.
Meat vessels.
Right. They have that metaphor, but it's not a metaphor because they said it out loud, and I wish they hadn't. Anyway, they said it out loud, but like how when Heather was looking through the camera, the reason why she did that is because she could, if she looked at it through the camera, then it wasn't real, and it like was a comfort to her. But then they had to go and ruin it, and
mother style.
Mike, Mark, Matt literally says, or is it Sean? One of the two.
I think it's Sean when he gets angry.
Literally says it out loud. He's like, you just
like I understand why you look through the camera all the time. It's because it makes it seem like everything's not real. That's not exact quote.
Because the audience could figure that out.
That's just
I don't mind that.
I don't know. That made me like. It didn't make me mad because I don't get mad at stupid crap like that. I didn't like it. Like, I thought that it was one of those things that didn't need to be said. It could be interpreted. I thought that it was like a waste of dialogue to say it, but you thought that you were like, that's my favorite line.
Yeah, I really liked that line because I was like, yeah, no, I get it. I feel that connection, wanting to mask reality.
It's not about that we don't agree. It's about that you don't need to say it out loud.
It's a fine line to walk on. I don't like it when like the complexities of characters said out loud all the time, but sometimes it's like. It doesn't bother me too much because sometimes the characters have to find it out for themselves as well.
Yeah, I guess.
And so that was just kind of him like, oh. But the problem, my problem with
she doesn't use it.
That's what I was going to say. My problem with it is that it's not like that really
it doesn't go anywhere. Yeah, so it's just said for the fact of like the audience, it feels like. And I don't think that in that regard it needed to be said.
It's a found footage movie, so it's like no one's going to look for stuff like that. So I understand why they said it.
But also, so speaking of our favorite lines, Dustin, do you have a favorite line?
No. Oh yeah, I do.
What is it?
It's the one everyone loves, where she's like, when she's like snotting everywhere.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm afraid to close my eyes and stuff.
Yeah, because I like.
That was cool.
I like one word specifically that she says, when she says "hunted" or being hunted. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, you are very naughty.
I like that
by the Blair Witch.
I like the way she said it. Like, I just like that whole segment. I agree. I think that segment. Yeah. I think that monologue is great. It's the scenes. Me and Madison brought up this point because Madison's seen this movie
15
twice. I saw it twice.
First time she watched it, she had headphones in, and so she could hear all the distinct noises and hear what was going on. When we watched it together the second time,
on the TV,
you couldn't hear everything because our speakers on our television are stupidly designed and face the wall behind the TV. So because I couldn't hear anything,
they don't even do that. They're on the bottom of
the sounds were either unintelligible or so indistinct that it was actually far more terrifying than if you could hear what was actually going on. Because in the moment of watching it, I was like, I think I hear a cackle. But is it a cackle? Like, do I really hear a laugh? Or is my brain, like, making that up? Like, do I really hear that? And that, to me, was far more unsettling. Because because I couldn't really understand what was going on, I didn't understand what was going on. Like...
Well, it's like you were in the place of the characters,
right?
Because they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know if it was real or not.
Right, and now I'm in exactly their shoes. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know, if it's a cackle, if it's not a cackle, who's making it. Is it outside? Is it on the television? So I was put literally in the actor's shoes. Whereas if you listen to it with headphones and good speakers. You said that it wasn't as scary because you could hear.
Yeah, you could
exactly
hear everything, and you're like, well, that's supposed to be there. And then, like, when we watched it again, it made me second guess myself because there was a distinct part that I remember where the witch laughs, and you can hear the witch laugh, and then I didn't hear it on the TV, and I was like, did I hear it right the first time? Am I just not hearing it now? And it's.
So really, if you want the best experience of this movie, get really crappy $1 headphones, or listen to it on something that's really lo-fi, so you can
listen to it on a boombox. Like, attach the boombox to your speakers and just have the movie play out of that.
That would probably be
pretty
creepy.
If you can figure out how to make that work.
I don't think you can do that.
Yeah. Maybe we'll make a
that
part 2.
That poor town, though.
And we'll just talk about after Blair Witch: The Dawning. Why don't this?
If you want us to talk about it, thumbs up and comment down below. Subscribe.
Bye.
Oh my god.